The NFL tampering period opens in less than 24 hours, and I'm excited. It almost feels like the season is on the way. Like, that's how this feels to me. We've been waiting for 3 years for this moment, for the Detroit Lions to have an opportunity to sign a game-changing individual from the Tyrell Williams and Brashard Perriman and the people like Khalif Raymond, who started off as a guy, kind of a throwaway dude, and part of that 2021 class, Alex Anzalone, but turned into core players for this team. And speaking of core players for this team, the purpose of this video is to talk about our players from last year. There's a couple that there's quite a bit. There's 5 in particular: Jonah Jackson, Graham Glasgow, Josh Reynolds, Donovan Peoples-Jones, and CJ Gardner-Johnson. Now, just because it is the Sunday before and they're not signed, that does not mean that they won't be signed. Tomorrow, this video might be irrelevant. But right now, there is a bit of questions as to why these guys aren't signed. The Detroit Lions can take care of their own. You can do that before the start of free agency and the tampering period. That is just for people like Danielle Hunter, free agents that are on other teams. You cannot tamper with them. That's why the McCole Hartman thing was such a big deal, because McCole played for the Jets. He got traded to Kansas City, so it could be some stuff there. You can't do that until that time is allowed. But and I learned this last year, and I said this before in a different video, if there is a situation where the fact that Josh Reynolds, CJ Gardner-Johnson, Jonah Jackson, Graham Glasgow, the fact that those guys are not signed can be a lead to a bigger problem. It could be a bigger, more than meets the eye, so to speak, right? Because why not take care of those guys if you can take care of them first? Now, what I have seen is that right when free agency opens, Brad takes care. Tomorrow, right at the tampering period, it's going to be like Josh Reynolds, CJ Gardner-Johnson. If you're going to be re-signed, it's probably going to be tomorrow. But what I learned from last year as well is going into once free agency officially opens, if the guys on our roster that were a part of the team last year are not re-signed, that is an indication that something is wrong. So the question is, I want to say it's about 15 free agents, somewhere between 15 and 10 and 15 that are not re-signed. Jason Kabinda will not be a Detroit Lion, in my opinion. Will Dan Skipper be back? I'm not sure. I would love to see Dan back. Kind of a nostalgic thing, but also I think he steps up when the time comes. Like he does just enough to make the practice squad and potentially make the team. So I would love to see Dan Skipper coming back. It's not going to break the bank, change the game. We could throw him on the practice squad if need be. But those 5 people, we have no guard right now on the sides of Frank Ragnow. So we got a situation. And last year we lost Evan Brown. This year we could lose. I don't think Graham is going to come back. But Jonah is the guy that wants top dollar, right? And Frank Taylor, I think they want this offensive line back. They want this cohesiveness. They want this one unit. And I don't blame them. So that might be some leveraging, a leveraging tool for Jonah Jackson, right? Heading into negotiations. But where are we now? And that is a thing. So tomorrow, expect a lot of these signings to come out. Josh Reynolds, CJ Gardner-Johnson, blah, 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 as we head to Tuesday and Wednesday. And the official, because tomorrow at noon, okay, those same individuals, Jonah, Josh, Gardner-Johnson, they can begin negotiations with another team. So the fact that you know what? Scrap everything I said. The fact that right now we don't have them re-signed can be a bigger issue. Now the question is, even Donovan Peoples-Jones, I'll throw him in there as number 7. Is he a guy that's going to come back? So what Brad Holmes usually does is he takes care of his people in-house. So all of that money, if those guys are going to come back, I would be surprised if Brad tomorrow at noon goes outside and pulls a Danielle Hunter or negotiations with Jonathan Greenard or any of those guys, Bryce Huff, Van Ginkel, Epinesa, whoever it is, a situation. Then we got the whole Snead thing. Is Snead still a possibility as well? So all of that can begin tomorrow at 12. But this video, 12 Eastern Standard Time, 12 p.m. The fact that these guys are not back, and I know we just brought back Craig Reynolds, he probably earned a contract with that block alone. That probably, because remember 2 years ago on Hard Knocks, he was literally on the chopping block. So I think Craig has earned his way on this team, and I think that's why we had that tender placed on him. But are you concerned about any guy? And I'm gonna put you on a spot here. One person that you got to bring back out of all of those people, who are you going to bring back? That's tough because we have 2 guards and you can only bring back 1. Man, I don't know. I think if I had to bring back 1, it would be, I think it'd probably be Graham. I think, okay, let's do this. That's a little too tight. Let's do 3. I'm bringing back Josh Reynolds, Graham Glasgow, and I'm going to bring back CJ Gardner-Johnson out of those guys. But I tell you what, receiver market, it ain't like last year. Last year, you had Jarvis Landry, Kenny Galladay, who neither of them took a snap in the National Football League this year. It ain't like last year. You got some guys that's available. We saw what the Bears just did with that safety, right? So we got some opportunity this year. We really, truly do. So let me know in the comments below the 3 of the 7 that I mentioned that you would bring back in order. And do you think that there's anything to the fact that these guys aren't re-signed? Because personally, I do. And if you watch, just like watching analytics, watching your numbers, right? The success from YouTube, for me, outside of you guys watching the channel, it comes from knowing your audience. You have to be very into your analytics. The same thing if you watch these things, DJ Chark, Jamal Williams, if the fact that they could be back and they're not, that is a problem, right? That could be because of a bigger issue. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for 20,000 subscribers. It's been a journey. I think we are at 28 months. 28 months will be, 30 months will be April 27th. The day of the draft will be the 2.5-year anniversary of this channel. And in that time, I have grown, because of you, 20,000 subscribers. Man, I could not be here without you, because this channel is made possible by viewers, subscribers, and members just like you. You guys are awesome. Take care of yourself and each other. Let me know in the comments below, and thank you again for 20K. And as always, go Lions. Oh, and the Lions giveaway can happen now.